On November 28, 1998, the body of Rita Hester was found in her apartment, stabbed over 20 times in the chest. She was miraculously still alive when she was found, but died of cardiac arrest on her way to the hospital. Rita was popular in her local community and active in social and music scenes, and news of her death shocked and pained her friends and loved ones. Her mother, heavily grieving, said, "I would have gladly died for you, Rita. I would have taken the stabs and told you to run. I loved you." There were no signs of robbery, and the murder remains unsolved. The following year, Rita was remembered by a transgender friend, activist Gwendolyn Ann Smith, who memorialized Rita on November 20th, and local friends gathered in a vigil to celebrate Rita's life. This date caught on and began spreading through dozens of cities internationally, becoming the annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. Generally during a candlelight vigil, local mourners gather to read the list of names of known transgender murders throughout the world, emphasizing that transgender women of color are the most attacked and murdered population in the world and the most likely to be victims of hate crimes, though most transgender murders are never reported as hate crimes, and in many cases the individual who is murdered gets reported in the newspapers by their birth name and gender, instead of their chosen identity and name. A hate crime is simply defined as a crime motivated by racial, sexual, or other prejudice, typically involving violence, yet in the case of transgender women, there is generally enough violence to kill the victim many times over, and there's frequently further violence and mutilation delivered to the body after the victim has already died. While it is more comfortable to think of these violent murders as something that happened in the distant past, there were a record number of transgender murder victims in the year 2015, 300 worldwide, over 20 of them in the United States alone. Crimes that involved victims being shot, were stabbed multiple times, run over by cars several times, or even beheaded. I attended my first Day of Remembrance in Salt Lake City last year, on November 20th. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the plaques lining the walls, bearing photos of the transgender individuals who had been violently murdered in 2015, and from years past, and I openly wept as their names were read aloud, looking at the crowd filled with my transgender friends, colleagues, and peers, and their loved ones. We can never do enough as a community to bring awareness to these issues. We can't rest until every one of our trans sisters and brothers are safe and protected, and that those that are tragically gone are grieved and celebrated. One day per year is not enough.